Welcome to Research Cross with Dr. Lexi, and in this video we are going to be looking at data analysis for starters. As researchers, we often have diverse research questions that requires answer. In order to answer this research question, we need an appropriate selection of research methods with the available data. Please note that this section has two parts. The first part deals with the theoretical aspect of data analysis, while the second part deals with the practicals. And also note that this section only focuses on panel data analysis for beginners. So, let's look briefly at the type of data used in statistical analysis. One, we have the time series data. We try to track a variable over time for a single entity. That is, trying to look at the sales of a particular product over various years. The second one is cross-sectional data, which collect information from multiple entities at a single point in time. For example, trying to survey a group of people about their favorite brand of clothing in a particular year. And the third one is panel data, whereby you collect information or data from multiple entities or persons over a multiple time period. For example, trying to fetch data on poverty level in 40 developing countries between the year 2020 to 2023. In selecting the appropriate research method, there are diverse factors to be considered. However, for this video, we will focus on the dependent variable characteristics. Note that we will not consider the econometrics jargons here. So the research modeling for a continuous dependent variable, which means that there is no restriction on the dependent variable outcomes. This can range from any number from 1 to 1 million, no restriction. Fundamentally, the research method that we use are the ordinary least square, fixed effect regression, and random effect regression. However, it is good to select which one is appropriate for your analysis between the fixed effect regression and random effect regression, and that's why we need to carry out OSMA tests. For binary outcome, which is usually yes or no and coded with 0 or 1, we always use logistic regression, which also can be called bit or probit model. For categorical on other outcomes, which are always alternative. In this case, you are not ranking any one of them. So you are just choosing between diverse options that you have. For example, occupational choice, you can be an entrepreneur, you can be working for a person, you can be working under government job and all that. So there is no ranking in this place. The method that we mostly use is multinomial probit or logit model. For other categorical outcome, which means in this case you are ranking, so you can be ranking from poor, good, excellent. So in this case, the method that we use is order probit and logit or logit model. And the last one, which is limited dependent outcome, which means that there is boundaries or we have restrictions, maybe between 0 and 1. So the method that we use is 2-bit model. So it's your own responsibility to actually look at which of these will fit your own dependent variable, and with that you cannot choose the appropriate model that will now dictate your research method. Let's consider the model specification aspect for this video. In order not to bother you with mathematical equation, I have selected a number of research papers that are authored with brilliant mentors. In each of these papers, I will point out the relevant research models employed with the model specification which you can also adopt for your research work. This paper on IFRS adoption and CEO compensation, evidence from the listed banks of Nigeria. This paper is based on continuous outcomes or continuous independent variable, in which we will now try to adopt the OLX, the fixed effect, the random effect, and the Hosmer test to actually choose the appropriate one. And with the Hosmer test, we can see that for our work we choose fixed effect. So let's run down to the model specification. So this is the model specification for this work, and you can actually just look at it, read it through, and try to understand it also. It's very clear, it's not complicated. Let's look at the second paper, financial official roles and enterprise risk management and empirical papers study. So in this study, we look at the binary outcome, and you remember that in the binary outcome you either use logit or probability. So let's run down to the model specification. So this is the model specification for this work, and if you can see, and as you can see that the outcome is binary, that means that we use logistics regression and all that, and you can actually scroll down to see how we interpret it. To the third paper, corporate governance and sustainability reporting quality, evidence from Nigeria. In this case, we looked at categorical ordered outcomes, and if you can look at it from this methodology, you're going to see that we looked at different scores that ranges from 0 to 4, and you can actually just scroll down to see the model specification for this work. You can see the model specification here. So this is how we specify the specification, and you see the ranking of the sustainability reporting quality: poor, low, average, above average, excellent, and all that. So in this case, we use ordered, logit, or probability, so you can actually just check. And for the fourth paper, which is on technology penetration and human development, so in this paper we looked at the limited dependent outcome. So that means that we use TOBIT. So even from the abstract, you can actually see that we use TOBIT, and you can actually just go down to the paper, and you can see our model specification here. So this is our model specification for this paper. So I'm going to add the link to these papers in the description column, and you can actually just download them and read it for your own understanding also. We've come to the end of this first part of this video, and see you in the second part, where we are going to consider the practicals of all these research methods that we've identified so far. Thank you. See you.